Good evening, everyone. Tonight's topic is counting of the Omer and making every day count. We are right now a little more than 2 weeks into Sfirat Omer, these days between Pesach and Shavuos. We are also in a very, very unique time during this whole corona situation, as so much of the world as we know it has been turned upside down. And in a way, these days between Pesach and Shavuos are perplexing and complicated days as it is. On the one hand, it's an exciting time as we go from Pesach to Shavuos and we build up from leaving Mitzrayim to the point of receiving the Torah. And at the same time, we also talk about the mourning of Rabbi Akiva's students. And in essence, there's different things going on during this time. And this year, as a Jewish nation and Jewish people and the entire human race go through this difficult moment, this difficult time in history, there's so many different emotions that come up. And I'd like to just talk about one or two ideas that are personally meaningful to me, and I think you will find so as well. The Jewish people went, as our rabbis tell us, from the lowest level of Tumah to the highest level of Kedusha in a matter of 49 days. All of Jewish history is recounted from Matan Torah. Yeridas Hadoros, the lowering of the generations, is from the point of Matan Torah. How is it possible that they went from the lowest level of impurity to the highest level of Kedusha in just a matter of 49 days? And I believe that the secret, the answer to how this was possible, lies at the very base of who we are as a human being. Who are we? What are we as a human being? So we know that a human being, is called Adam. What is the root Adam? It has the same root as the word Adama, the word for earth. What does man and earth have in common? So one of the explanations is that we come from the earth, we'll go back to the earth. And there's truth to that, but in a way there's a deeper concept, which is that earth, by definition, is potential. A piece of earth, you put a seed into it, a tree can grow out of it. You can build a building on a piece of earth. Everything else in the world that we see is what it is. A cow is a cow. A mountain is a mountain. You can try to adjust it and change it, but it always is what it is. On the other hand, the human being, the nature, the definition of a human being is potential. We know that the Hebrew language defines what something is. And if the Torah tells us that we are Adam, we are man, we are beings of potential, then that's the very essence of who we are as a human being. The Medrash tells us that when the Malachim, the angels, saw the first man, they thought they were seeing Hashem himself. And I believe the explanation is because of this potential that the human being has, that Malachim do not have. It's interesting, in Bereshis we're told that Hashem says, I created man, B'Tselem Elokim, in my image. And what do we know about Hashem at this point of Bereshis? We don't know that he's Karachum, V'Chanun, Erech Apayim, V'Rav Chesed, V'Emes, that he's compassionate and kind. We don't know anything about Hashem. The only thing we know about Hashem when he creates man is that Hashem is a creator. And if he is a creator, and he created us in his image, then we are creators. But what does it mean that we can create? So on one level, it means that we have an ability to make a difference. We have an ability to do a mitzvah. We have an ability to change the world. We have an ability to be creators with him, so to speak. He gave us that power to be his partners in creation. But another way of looking at this is we have an ability to change ourselves. We have an ability to grow and become the best version of ourselves. And in many ways, this is our purpose in life. And when we go from Pesach to Shavuos, I believe this is the experience that we have to go on. This is the mission that we're going on. We're going, if you think about every day between Pesach and Shavuos, it's like climbing a step towards the ultimate goal of Matan Torah. But each one of these steps, each step is a step in our personal growth. It is a step in our growth going from Mitzrayim to the receiving of the Torah. We're told that the word Mitzrayim, the root of the word, comes from the word Meitzar, which is contraction, something that holds us back. And Chazal teach us that just like there was a Mitzrayim that the Jewish people were locked in, each one of us has a Mitzrayim inside of ourselves. Each one of us has something that holds us back, that tells us, no, you can't do that. You cannot become free. You're stuck in who you were yesterday. And we all have a paro inside of us that tells us, no, you can't. And ultimately, our mission in life is to go from there to Matan Torah, to the ultimate freedom where we realize that our potential is almost infinite. How do we do this? How do we go through this transition? So I'd like to just share a few ideas. The first mitzvah given to the Jewish people, the Am Yisrael, was the mitzvah of Rosh Chodesh. We just celebrated Rosh Chodesh yesterday. And Chazal, rabbis, wonder, why was this the first mitzvah given to the Jewish people? On one level, it's because you need a Rosh Chodesh in order to have the lunar calendar, in order to have the months, the Jewish calendar, and Rosh Chodesh Nisan was considered the first month in our calendar because of that. But the Maharal and others explain that there's a deeper idea as well. And that is that Rosh Chodesh symbolizes renewal. It symbolizes an ability to change, to become something different than I was yesterday. And the Jewish people, Am Yisrael, going out of Mitzrayim to Matan Torah, needed the concept of Rosh Chodesh in order to become truly free and in order to become who they needed to be. And it's interesting, we read in the Pesach Seder, where the Gemara tells us, Yachol me Rosh Chodesh, that you would think that we should actually celebrate the Pesach Seder on Rosh Chodesh 15 days before they left Mitzrayim. How would it make sense to celebrate Pesach Seder on Rosh Chodesh? And the only explanation would be is because they needed this concept of Rosh Chodesh in order to become free. And once they had that concept, they were able to become free. In the bracha we say, that we say in Kiddush Levana, we say that after the bracha we say, if this would be the only mitzvah, it would be enough. It's strange to say that. When do we say that if this was the only mitzvah, it would be enough? And I believe the explanation is because the concept of Rosh Chodesh is so essential to who we are that it would be enough. We also know that the Greeks tried to stop the Jews from doing 3 mitzvahs. One of them was Kiddush HaChodesh, the idea of Rosh Chodesh. And it could be they also realized the chashivas, the importance, the newness that happens on Rosh Chodesh. And the Greeks were against any kind of growth, of spiritual growth, of believing that something could be greater than what it looks like on the surface. On one level, we have to realize that we have so much potential inside of ourselves. And this is true not just on a spiritual level, but the way Hashem made us, this is true even on a physical level. We know that many researchers of the brain have told us that a normal person only uses maybe 10 to 20% of their mental abilities. We don't even have a clue of what we can accomplish. I was looking at something recently where somebody made an argument that any person can accomplish, to learn almost any skill in 20 hours if they believe that they could do it. And the greatest thing that stops us is that we don't believe that we have the ability to do it. We limit ourselves. My father's Rabbi, Shlomo Freifeld, used to say that Popeye was the enemy of the Jews. Now the Jews have a lot of enemies. Why do we need Popeye to be our enemy? And he said, because what did Popeye used to say? I am what I am on Popeye the Sailorman. That statement, I am what I am, this is who I am. I'm not sure if Popeye really understood the depth of what he was saying. But that idea, I am what I am, this is my limitation. Rosh Shlomo Freifeld also used to try as much as possible for his students not to give IQ tests to their kids. Because he said when you give an IQ test, and sometimes there's a need for it, but when you give an IQ test very often, what are you doing? You're putting a person in a box. You say, this is your IQ score, and that's it. And it's so interesting, Rabbi Freifeld said this in the 70s, and now there's so much research that have come out that have shown that there's actually 7 different types of intelligence, and IQ only checks and is only able to look at one of them. There's amazing research that has come out, and if someone's interested in reading a book about this, there's a very good book called Mindset by Carol Dweck. And she talks in this book, Carol Dweck, she mentions in this book that there's research that was done where people went into public schools in very, very low neighborhoods of socioeconomic neighborhoods that the overwhelming majority of the school was failing. And they went in with a mindset, a growth mindset, that they believed that the students can do anything. And just a few years, they had second graders reading Shakespeare. They had scores that were unbelievable on the math tests and everything else, just purely because they believed in the students and they encouraged them to believe in themselves. So we know that this is so true on a physical level, that our abilities are so much more than we believe, so much more than we often believe, and so often in life we limit ourselves and we say, this is not who I am, I don't have this ability, somebody else has that, I don't have that. But this is even more true in a spiritual realm, in the world of spirituality, in the neshama, in the spiritual world. Our abilities are beyond our comprehension because of the siyata d'shmaya, the divine intervention that we have, and so many ways we have an ability to do things that are really, really unbelievable. And if we believe in ourselves and we believe that Hashem can give us those strengths and abilities, and we have that growth mindset, we can accomplish tremendous things. And I believe as we go from Pesach to Shavuos, this is a message that we need to be thinking about. How can I grow? How can I become a better person, a growth-oriented person? And if I have that mindset, a growth-oriented mindset, literally every challenge that we face becomes an opportunity for growth, an opportunity to be stronger through the challenge. And I often speak to my students at Emet. I have the opportunity to be one of the directors of Emet Outreach, campus and community Kiruv organization in Queens. And we have literally thousands of students who are at all different levels of their spiritual growth. And Emet, our vision, our belief, is that every student has to be guided in their own path. But the common denominator of the amazing staff that we work with here at Emet and the approach that we take is believing in people, believing in each and every Jew, believing in their potential. And when you have that belief in a person, it encourages them to believe in themselves. One of the ideas that I often speak to my students about is I'll ask them the following question: what's more important, your actions or your beliefs? And it's sort of a trick question because they're both important. And if we do actions that are not based on our beliefs, it's not really, we're acting like a monkey. But in reality, your actions define who you are. The way you live your life changes who you are. And if we have a growth mindset, we realize that if I do acts of chesed, I'll become a kinder person. If I follow the mitzvahs, I'll become a better person. And if we have this approach, then we can look at the Sfiras HaOmer. We can look at each day, and we know every day of the Sfiras HaOmer is for a different sphere, is a different message, a different connection that we're supposed to bring into ourselves. And if we have this mindset, we can become the person that we want to be. Because ultimately, if we want to grow as a person, and I think we all do want to grow, we have to have a mindset that we can become a different person than we are today. And the way we can become that is by doing mitzvahs, by having an open mind and allowing ourselves to grow into the person that we believe we can be. And I believe that this is what the Torah is teaching us during this time. And I hope that we will take this inspiration of this time between Pesach and Shavuos to grow into the true person that we all believed inside that we can be. And hopefully we'll be able to take from these challenges that we're facing today and use the challenge as a springboard for our growth in every way. Thank you.